Now, it's very rare for me to have every generation of a car lined up at one go, but I do have them here today, right from the first generation BMW X5 that was launched almost 20 years ago right here in Atlanta, right down to the spanking new fourth generation BMW X5 that I'm here to test drive. Now, this has always been a car that we really enjoyed from behind the wheel, but BMW are not just happy with that. With this new generation, they want to widen their appeal. They're promising more space, more comfort, more refinement. So will this be the best of both worlds, backseat and behind the wheel? Well, that's what I'm here to find out. Instantly you see the difference. It's the kidney grills. They're on steroids now and they dominate the nose. They also have a single-piece chrome surround and active vanes too. There are also larger air dam areas split into 3 distinct sections, and the fogs are neatly housed on the top of the side air dams, which are once again massive in size. New LEDs are standard and you can opt for laser lights too. While the side profile feels familiar, contour lines have changed, and the crease under the window line, though subtler, carries a new kink upwards under the rear window to accentuate the flanks. And there are smart new double-spoke alloys. The rear gets more contours than before, with strong crease lines under the new LED lights, which adds a lot of width. The skid plates front and rear rise up higher, and overall it's a more beefed up and aggressive looking SUV. Well, the good news is that this new X5 has grown in size, in length, in width, in height, but we're interested in the space that's really increased between these two wheels. It's going to open up a lot more room in the back seat, and I'm going to check it out. Oh yes, instantly you can tell the difference in space. There is a lot more leg room over here. It does feel wider in the back seat as well. But more than that, what's really making it feel nice and open and airy is this massive panoramic sunroof. Space in the back seat has increased, but boot volume remains pretty much the same. Now, nothing to grumble about because it is a large enough boot at 650 liters, a lot of volume there. And of course, now both sides of the split tailgate are operated at the touch of a button to open and to close. So from behind the wheel, there's a lot that's new as well. I really like this large 12.3-inch digital cluster that's new. You get an equally large infotainment screen and you can operate between the both, deciding what information you want to have displayed where. This infotainment screen, if you remember in the earlier version, was sort of standalone, but now it comes better integrated into this entire digital cluster and looks much nicer as well. Looks more cohesive in the design. Even the air vent's shape has changed. It's got nice chrome surround for the air vent and for the music controls over here. The central console itself used to be flatter, but now slopes up and is more integrated into the entire dashboard. And talking points in this car, of course, are this very snazzy glass crystal-like gear lever. Even the iDrive now gets a glass top, the start-stop button, and even the volume button as well. Features at this point have not been sealed for the Indian version, but there are things like ambient air package, a 20-speaker 1500-watt BMW system, thermocup holders that can be heated or cooled, and a host of safety and driver assist systems, including the very popular Park Assist. But it remains to be seen what makes it to our country. You can also opt for a third row of seats, and I'll come to that a little later. The lakeside at Painted Rock Farm in Georgia was the perfect setting to examine the car closely. And then it was time to drive. Atlanta was chosen for this drive because the first X5 was launched here almost 20 years ago. The engine I'm driving now is the 30D, the staple in India. It's a 3-liter diesel that produces 265 HP and 620 Nm of torque. It's a familiar engine and it still has that good mid-range torque. Feels pretty much the same to drive, but what's changed is refinement. The gruff note of the earlier engine is gone. It's far quieter now, and in fact, overall cabin refinement has improved. It's far more hushed on the inside. The engine is not only refined in the way that it sounds, but even in the way that it delivers power. It's far smoother. The sudden kickdown of torque is no longer there, and that does take a little away from the thrill factor, but make no mistake, this engine is still as quick as before. The 8-speed gearbox has been updated too, with a wider spread of ratios for better efficiency. On the winding sections of road, you can tell that this car has grown in size, and so it's lost a little bit of its agility, but that still doesn't take away from the fun to drive experience of the X5. It still feels stable, solid and planted. What has improved quite dramatically is the level of comfort that the car now offers its passengers. Now the roads here are far better than the roads at home, but still when we go over the bad sections of road, the ride quality feels improved. It just flattens out the bad sections much better. We also got an opportunity to test the off-road package and what it can do in off-road conditions. So we're pretty much putting this X5 through its paces, little bit of slush, little bit of rock crawling, ascending steep hills that are slippery, going down descents, and so far it's doing everything really well. The off-road package is being offered for the first time on an X5 with modes that are tuned for different grip levels and conditions. This option was offered with a lot of customers wanting a little more off-road capability from the X5, and it will widen its appeal for sure. So, I've been in the 5-seater version all day, but there is a 7-seater on display here as we've come to the end of the day. I'm going to check it out and see what that's like, because you could opt for a 7-seater version. As you can see, access is really easy, touch of a button. Space inside still at the best for small kids. It is a bit tight at the back, although there is marginally more room. Now, of course, you have to remember, you can either opt for 7 seats or 5 seats and a spare tire. Well, the new X5 definitely has a lot more for its customers. Well, it's been 5 years since the last brand new X5 that we saw, and the older one in India was a bit aging. This one brings all the modernity to the table. It's packed with features. It's better on refinement, it's better on comfort, and we asked ourselves at the beginning, will this now offer the best of both worlds, back seat and behind the wheel? Well, it still remains completely enjoyable to drive, and yes, the back seat is far more comfortable. BMW X5 is back in the game.